talk about the two boats portion.
Yes. So when I was feeling that tug and pull, it was there, and just kind of letting Jesus have my boat, and basically that just means I invited him into my space and just allow me to serve or lead, whatever he wants, I'm there. And so, while we were, partnered, Tiffany was able to come in and do a little bit of help. I think before I was there, while I was there, I can't clearly remember like her positioning, but she was trying to help Tiffany being my wife. And she was looking for some programs that would help us manage things better and kind of administratively bring things together. And so I think she saw I was looking too and whatnot. So we're, sharing some stuff back and forth. But she had found this one program. I think it was called Builder Trend, and not promoting them, saying everybody should go use Builder Trend. But at the time in 2015, when she did a lot of research and found this program, and she was like, hey, you need to look at this program. And I was just like, pride, or I don't know what it was. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work, but yeah, I'll look at it. And then, she broke it down, all the things it could do. I mean, just structurally, I was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like, it's like when Jesus said to Peter, hey, you've been putting your net down here in the shallow waters this whole time. He says, go out to the deeper waters and put out your net. And then Peter was like, man, we already tried that, yeah. But because you said, I'll go do that. And that's how I felt in that moment, man, was like, honey, I've looked at all these programs, but if you want me to look at it, what else might, I guess, So I'll look at it. And so when I was looking at this, man, it was probably the same moment as Peter, when all the multitude of fish started filling the net, and probably was like in shock. That's how I felt when I looked at this program. It was like this entrepreneurial scaling genius dude just went boop in my head. Mm-hmm. I never had that before. And that's not any credit to Richie or myself or something I've learned or something I've gained. It was God downloading fish, a multitude fish in my head. And he just showed me like what I can do with the multitude of fish and how to catch them and how to serve them. And this program was showing me how to scale. That's the word. I never knew even the word scale before. Like, what does scale mean? I don't know. Scales on fish? No, scale means grow the company to levels that are sustainable and continue to grow. And I just seen it. I was like, oh my gosh, this program, I didn't even know there was a such thing. And here I am, a baby to this. There's probably people out there like, yeah, man, that's what we use. But me, new into the game, I was like, wow, there's an integrating lead system. So when you get phone calls, you can have this, you can do data on how they, the response levels, temperature levels, and the price values and gauges, and then they can transfer into a job. You can job number, boom, and it's all like on this app. Homeowner has access to this. There's transparency. I just started seeing like growth, the transparency growth with clients trusting us and aligning with everything we wanted to do. I saw that you can upload pictures and daily logs and tag people. You could put employees. You can bring in subcontract. It was like this all-in-one hub in 2015. We're talking 10 years ago. That's a game changer, right? Because that's nowadays we're probably like there's a lot of programs, but not back then. Yeah. This was in its infancy, just showing surface, and so. I knew that there was no one on the island that had this or anything like this. And I knew we were just about to be set. It was like I had a multitude of fish just going to like into my head. And that was the moment, man. I was like, Jesus, what are you doing? Like, do you want me to go back? Like, I was trying to share this with Randy and them. And they were on board, but I don't think they were ready to scale or go that. They could tell... I think they could tell there was a different vision all of a sudden, you know, and so when it came close to December, and I told them when we started, I want to give it a year. So I fulfilled the year. I think I had that revelation sometime in August, but when it came, I talked to Tiffany and I told her that, look, I feel like we have our own vision that God just downloaded and always had a vision for us since we started. And I said, you know, but I need you. I feel like I have a vision now.
Yeah.
And I shared it with her, and she at the time she had a job that she loved, man. She was working at the airport. She was growing in her position. I mean, they were offering her, you know, to continue to grow. They're recognizing how powerful she was. And then here I am, I'm her husband, her best friend. I'm starting to recognize how powerful she is too. And I'm like, you know, this job she had with Alaska Airlines, she could, you know, jump on a plane and go to Japan and eat lunch first class, come back, and you know, no cost considered. So she was not going to give that up. So I was just like, I just had this like really heart to heart one-on-one with her, and just like, look, I know you're a beast. I know that if you can handle the administrative back end of the operations and somebody just controlling that side of things, and then I can focus on what I do best with, you know, sales and certain things. And then I believe we can really grow. And I have people still calling, because I got the ATN just kind of chilling. They're just still calling, man. Like, we're getting emails and phone calls. And it's like, I think we could like hone these in and plug them and actually serve them and just keep growing. And I see it, you know. I was like super excited and passionate. And I knew it was time, and I knew it. And she was just like, nah, I like my job, you know. She's, I got to pray for it. And I was like, I don't know if this was the right thing to do, but I offered a bonus, like a starting bonus, anything I could to just like try to convince her in. But, you know, God put it on her heart, and she did it, man. She quit all her jobs and she went full force. And we both agreed that I needed to go full force for my license, for God really to open the doors. And so it wasn't about the program or anything like that. It was more about just, I think, a season of, you know, being exhausted and clocking out and washing the nets, and Jesus, you know, was speaking through my wife to give. It was like my wife said, hey, go, you know, throw the nets out in the deep. Here's a program, try this. And I, you know, in that moment just really connected with that story. And it was a moment where I realized I needed a partner, you know, and I needed a partner in the physical sense, like somebody to be on that journey with me, you know, and to just speak even more into that. Like, if you look at like the biggest visionaries, Walt Disney had Iceworks, right? And I didn't even know, like a lot of people think that Walt Disney
was just on his own, or
and he was the artist of Mickey Mouse, but he wasn't. It was Iceworks. I think he used to sit in the office and do like 600 drawing frames a day to create animations back then. And Walt Disney was the visionary to say, man, let's try to turn this into something. And I think Iceworks put together this whole animation before the Steamboat Mickey, and that was the first like moving animation cartoon. But then, you know, Disney had the idea to put music with it. And then when they showed it to the public, everyone's like, whoa, cartoons, you know? And so it just kind of blew up from there. And so there's just, you know, so many people that had that second boat, you know. Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak, you know, the master of the machine. And people like Martin Luther King had Ralph Abernathy. Lecrae had Ben Washer. If you don't know these people, just go look them up, man. It's like Lecrae was, you know, one of the probably the best, I don't know, best is the right word, but most successful Christian hip hop artist, and he had Ben Washer there to do things administratively. So I think every visionary has a somebody who can implement and execute, right? And so Tiffany is a visionary too. Don't get me wrong. She brought so many amazing ideas, but I just needed somebody to partner with me in that moment. And so that was the game-changing moment, I think, for ATN. And that's when we started ATN. See, we used to be All Things New, and now we started a new entity with a license called ATN.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's when ATN birth was 2016, and we, you know, brought the name in All Things New, doing business as All Things New. So we integrated them together.
Yeah. It's so funny because when I was reading that portion, I was like, yo, don't do it, Tiff.
Don't do it.